Today, dear friend, the conservative world was absolutely apoplectic and frenetic and filled with excitation over the fact that Claudine Gay, the erstwhile president of Harvard University, who only was in office for 6 months and 2 days, the shortest lived, not lived, lived president in the university's history, quote, resigned. She was kicked out, booted, told to, walk the plank and get the hell out of here. We've had enough of you. We're tired of this. You have been nothing but an absolute waste of time. Dear God, we've done everything. What is it that made us even think for a moment you were worth any of this? You have been a disaster. Urkel is on her way out. She's through. She's finished. She's done. And a plagiarist with like 50 different cases of this. And nobody cares about plagiarism. Don't forget, if you steal from one, it's called plagiarism. If you steal from more than one, it's called research. And of course, she resigned because everybody was racist. Or maybe not. It's nothing but just, you know what? It's just absolute crap. Now, here's the bottom line. And don't take this the wrong way. You don't care about Harvard University. You don't care about plagiarism. And you don't care about her. Do you care about McGill from Penn? No. How about the one from MIT whose name forgets me? Because she wasn't Urkel. She wasn't, this kind of a Dave Chappelle looking kind of, what is this? Don't kid yourself. You want to hear the truth? I'll tell you the truth. When people saw her for the first time, they said, oh God, what is this? Another one of these non-binary LGBTQ. What's your pronouns, honey? What's your Oh, here we go. Oh, we've been to this movie before. Oh, we know about that. Oh, Polly. Well, she's married. What? She's married. Okay. Whatever. But that's what you thought. When you saw her, you thought, oh, bravo, Harvard, bravo. Oh, this is terrific. Oh, you knew right away. Say, I know this, right? Right? You were kind of right, sort of, but not, well, you were right. And you are sick of this. And she became the lightning rod. She became the proxy for all of your disgust that you feel about whatever. She is the target of the disgust, the absolute unmitigated disgust that you feel for these people. Nobody cared about you when you were shadow banned, when you were shut down. Nobody came after your defense when you dared to say something about ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine, a goddamn virus, some palliative care. Nobody came to protect you when they called you a racist because you dared to differ with whatever it is. Nobody called you a climate denier, an election denier, a Putin apologist. Where was Gay then? She couldn't care less. She looked at you like, well, you're wrong, because she felt invincible. She said, I got everything. I got the hair. I got the glasses. I got the weird look. I'm kind of androgynous, sort of. I'm perfect. black woman named Gay, who's not, but maybe, I don't know. I mean, it's perfect. And she writes, and all her stuff, all of her scholarly work is this stuff. Is like, does anybody care about this? Is this scholarly? Is it all about race, 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 black, 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 white, 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 black, 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 white, white. Oh my God. She stood up. Right? Am I right? Of course I'm right. Of course I'm right. Well, here's where you and I part company. She's absolutely correct when it comes to statements made about genocide have to be looked at in terms of the context. And if you don't like that, you're not an American. That's not what got her canned. That's not what it was. It's the fact that she sided with this group, but not that group. University of Chicago has the best way of handling it. They don't get involved. No, that's not. We don't get involved. We don't have a position. Yeah, but they're advocating genocide. Well, I don't know if they're advocating genocide, but you know what? Unless somebody's out there actively targeting, these people right here, you can say whatever you want. This is a university. We don't get involved. That's the way to do it. And if you want to get back, if you want to say, oh yeah, you don't mind Jewish genocide? Well, you know what? I want to reinstitute the slavery. How do you like that? Okay, mix it up. Go ahead. We're not getting involved. That would be groovy. Say whatever you want. Oh yeah, and I think you should go back on a boat and you should get the hell out of here and take that goddamn hat off and do say it. But you can't do it with this group, but not that group. You can't jump on somebody who uses the wrong pronoun. You can't make people go through Title IX mandatory classes unless you make people go through classes to show people about how Jews feel, about antisemitism, about pogroms. And by the way, you want to throw in one of the Islamic version of the Nakba? How we're going to be having classes all day. What it's like to be a woman, what it's like to be a black woman, what it's like to be a gay black woman, what it's like to be a gay black woman with a handicap, what it's like to be a gay black woman with a handicap and a learning disability, which I guess is a handicap. We're going to be doing that shit all day long. That's enough. But that's not what she did. She said, this is different. This is different. Do you understand this? This is different. That's where she lost us. And she was so stupid. Look at the plagiarism. You know what? I can't, that to me was it. They added that on. You mean to tell me nobody thought about have they been making these plagiarism cases for a long time? Maybe they did. I don't know. I don't think so. I think they did. Maybe they did. Nobody cares about plagiarism. You don't care about plagiarism. I know you. I know you. Do you hear me? I know you. You don't sit up at night saying the plagiarism. We got to do something about the plagiarism. Oh, please. That was just icing on the cake. Bill Ackman was probably today he probably needed a sedative because he won. Because he had, cover your ears, kids, he had a hard-on for Harvard. Something happened. They didn't treat him right. They sold his stock. I don't know what the hell he did, but he had blood in his eye for that one in particular. They didn't treat him right. They didn't treat him with the respect and with the you know what I mean? What am I trying to say? The respect and the courtesy and the fit. Anyway, he won. What does it matter? It's okay. And then also, Elise Stefanik finally did something. That's it. She's doing victory laps. Oh, I won. You got you got some Harvard. What about the country? Well, the country. What about something that affects us specifically? Elise, did you do anything for that? No. That's all you're going to do? Yes. All right. And by the way, Claudine Gay is the only person who actually went to Congress and something happened. Remember when Zuckerberg went? Nothing happened. Remember when the TikTok dude showed up? Nothing happened. Remember when the Major League Baseball players? Nothing happened. in 94, whatever it was, when the 14 or 7 or whatever tobacco execs who said, I don't think there's any connection between nicotine and addiction. Nothing happened to them. She's the only person. The only person. And another thing too, put to bed this nonsense about, well, the one who told the one who told Harvard to watch it is Barack Obama. Would you stop this? He doesn't have any control of that party whatsoever. If you think he is, he couldn't care less. He's at Martha's Vineyard. Did we ever get to the bottom of that cook or whatever it was who died in 6 inches of water? Anyway, he's over there by himself, and Michelle is somewhere else doing her thing, and he's happy. He did 2 tours of duty. He was a good soldier, and he says, now leave me the alone. I couldn't care less about Claudine Gay. I'm out of here. I want to play golf and do my thing. So stop this. And furthermore, stop this nonsense about, they're going to nominate Michelle. That's the most stupid thing I've ever heard in my life. And I know people who drive cars and have sharp objects who actually believe that Michelle Obama is going to be. Just stop this. People just talk nonsense. So the bottom line is simply this. What is the story? What's the big deal? It's like, she's gone. Good. Is DEI over with? No. No, it's not DEI. That's what Dershowitz and others are saying. It's not DEI. It's not over with that. But I tell you what they should do. They should really start cleaning house. I read today in the Harvard Crimson, there's a fabulous, very good article written by a student who was on the honor committee, whatever it's called, the honor brigade, and said, if students did that, they've got to, they're suspended for a couple of semesters. It goes on their record. I mean, they go through hell. What she did was she was proactive she was reactive. She only said something after she was caught. Now, the question is, what if it happens that your basis, your academic basis, your academic foundation is based in part or in toto on a dissertation or a study which later turns out to be found to be plagiarized? Is everything void ab initio? Do you just, you're fired? You start from scratch? You got to go back and get your master's or whatever, or redo it or retake? Who would want this? Who in their right mind says, hey, listen, Claudine, do me a favor. Don't copy anybody. You could take lipstick and write big letters and draw pictures of kitty cats and suns, and you're going to get it because you've got everything. You're perfect. The way you look, your race, gender, not sexually. We thought you were not, whatever. Doesn't matter. You're perfect. Just don't blow it. You don't have to steal. You don't have to cheat. You don't have to do this. You're in. They took one look at you and they go, Oh, they loved it. Oh, they loved it. You know it and I know it. I'll bet you anything. Her husband says to her, why do you dress like that? Because I'm in. Yeah, but people are talking. I don't care. I'm in. There's so many check marks. Weird glasses, weird hair. Urkel look like. Wears suits and okay. Well, Marlene Dietrich did too, and others. We live in such a, she is prototypically that classic woke, you've seen this. Look, you're old enough. You know what I'm talking about. The bottom line is this. I agree with her. They shouldn't have fired her. Not if this was the first time anybody ever brought this up, and there was no other case, and they said, do you think that Harvard should take action against students who talk about genocide? No. Agree or disagree? Agree or disagree? Forget it. Do you think that a university, forget where this is and forget whatever. But do you agree that a university should have students who can say anything so long as I'm not inciting immediate violence against you? I can talk about anything. Hillbilly says all three of them said the same thing. You're right, but for some reason, Stefanik, she went in for the kill because Claudine Gay was stupid enough to give that kind of hamana, and Stefanik smelled weakness. She's kind of a bully, smelled weakness. This is America. And if you want to go out and you want to say, I think the Civil War was incorrectly fought. I think slavery's great. I think say it. Say it. I know two people. One is a Marxist and one's a commie. No, he's not really technically a member of the party. But as far as I'm concerned, he's a commie. Two of the best people you ever were. Smart. They don't mean any harm. Should they be able to advocate this? Yes. They have classes at universities on communism. And I always ask him, why don't you leave? Why don't you leave? It's like me going into a restaurant. Every day you show up and you say, I hate this food. Why are you here? This is America. You should be able to say anything you want. Anything. If you want to say, I think that Israel should wipe out, well, they might be, wipe out Muslims and Palestine, pave it. In Palestine, there is no boundary. Say whatever you want. Now, if you don't like it, what you do is you go ahead and you say, well, here's where you're wrong. Because pretty soon, if I start allowing this one to be shut up and then this one to be shut up, next thing you know, nobody speaks. Nobody speaks. And the best part about it is that these people, these Elise Stefanik, whatever hell her name is, and others, they who went absolutely ape shit over the people who decide to go nuts when they fire, people because of their particular pronoun usage, they turn around and they want this woman fired. It's like, wait a minute. So you're a phony. Yep. You're just a phony. Yep. I'm Elise Stefanik. I haven't done anything. I've accomplished nothing. I'm like John Kennedy. I'm just into it. That's it. And for a while, when I go to CPAC, they're going to clap for me. Oh, Jesus, they're going to go crazy when they see me. They're going to go nuts when they see me. Cray, cray. Because I'm Elise Stefanik. And today's American conservative is a moron. A knuckle-dragging, mouth-breathing, low-fruit picking lunatic who loves the simplest, stupidest, dumbest, idiotic, most base things possible. That's exactly. She's the biggest phony of them all. And I can't believe how these these idiots actually fall for them. Okay. I'm going to stop for a second. I'm getting myself worked up. Now, let me tell you something. I want you to listen. You know and I know there's bad stuff happening. Listen to me. I don't know how many times I got to talk to you about food preparation. If this deal doesn't get you, if this deal, this kind of entry level, prepare with Lionel level, if this doesn't get you, if this doesn't say, okay, if this doesn't put you over the hump, nothing will. Listen carefully. Preparewithlionel.com. It's only about saving your life. They can't handle the truth, but you can. The truth is the clowns running this joint live for chaos. And many of our problems could be solved overnight, but they let them be. Destruction fuels them. If you can handle that truth, you need to visit my website, preparewithlionel.com. Preparewithlionel.com. You'll get $60 off a much-needed 4-week emergency food kit from My Patriot Supply. The country's largest preparedness company, My Patriot Supply, is your fighting chance at survival. Sealed inside rugged packaging, these delicious meals last up to 25 years and provide over 2,000 calories a day. Think about that. Eat right in emergencies with this 4-week food kit from My Patriot Supplies. At this low price, you can get one for everyone in your family. Visit preparewithlionel.com. Write this down. Commit it to memory. Preparewithlionel.com. Order by 3 p.m. for free same-day shipping. Prepare right now at preparewithlionel.com. One more time. Preparewithlionel.com before total chaos ensues. If that doesn't wake you up, I don't know what will. I don't know what will. My friends, I have been through this. I don't know how about you and where you've been, but I've been through this before. I have been through so much of this. I have seen I have seen people that have exhibited, well, I remember during the 60s when all of a sudden, remember this, when all of a sudden it was right around, it was post, I guarantee you, it was James Brown and Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud, and it was at the time of the um, uh, Black Panthers, and then later on it was, the Malcolm X group, Muhammad X, Thomas 32 X and X, and they had the bow ties and this and that. I was like, okay, and then they kind of whatever. But during the 60s, all of a sudden, somebody's name was, Eddie Jefferson becomes Mobutu Shabazz with a big afro and glasses and a dashiki and a right on. Okay, fine. I got it. And they love that. Want to hear that story about Leonard Bernstein, radical chic, when he brought over and had members of the Black Panthers come to his apartment on Park Avenue, whatever it was, wearing, this is the most important, wearing guns. Oh, you're going to love this. Oh, Mrs. L just sent me this one. Oh, dear God. Look at this. You ready for this one? Harvard's Claudine Gay set to keep her near $900,000 annual salary despite resigning. Outgoing president, whatever, will still earn nearly $900,000 a year despite being forced to whatever. Political science professor Gay, who stepped down, will now return to a position on the Cambridge School's faculty. Prior to being named president just 6 months ago, Gay earned $879,000 as a Faculty of Arts and Sciences dean in 2021 and $824,000 in 2020. Her new position was not specified, but she is expected to receive a salary comparable with what she previously received, if not higher. Listen, that's their thing. I don't care. Don't give me this business. That's okay. You would take it. I got no problem. They got to show a little face, so to speak. They have to do something to say, like, okay, whatever it is. I got to tweet this one. Can you believe this? I'm going to put this right up there. Just to drive. And Ackman's going to go crazy. 6 months and 2 days. You know what that reminds me of? It sounds like a Sinead O'Connor. It's been 6 months and 2 days. Nobody cares about you. Oh, dear God. Isn't this something? Where were you today when you found out she was bounced? Don't give me this resignation stuff. Where were you? What did you think? I thought, I'm kind of surprised. I don't feel happy. I don't feel sad. I think it's about kind of a symbolic picture. But where were you? Where were you? Come on, folks. Let me hear from you. Where were you when you first heard this? What did you think? Did you think, oh my God. Pam 1, Der 2, whatever that says yippee. Laura Floyd emits an emoji, which is very good. She's happy. It's a little tiny emoji. I guess that's happy. We don't speak English anymore. We just have emojis. How much does a president make? The president's salary sits at around 400,000 annually. That's okay. LeBron James is a billionaire. Taylor Swift is a billionaire for what? I don't listen. This is America. We're capitalists. Whatever the market will bear. I got no problem with this. Bed per usual. Sounds like an excellent plea deal, Lionel. And they wonder why tuition is so high. Of course, Mystery says, did not care. I don't care. You see this? You see this? Go ahead. Connect me to the machine for the care machine. Doesn't even register. The story has been has captivated everything in the news for I don't know how long, and you don't care. Means nothing. Not even I don't want you to lose sleep, but you don't care? Nothing? You don't see this as being the good guys winning or a strike against DEI or a strike. No, you don't care. I don't care. Proudly you announce to the world, I'm impervious to caring. That's the way I roll. I don't care. Could you probably say, some of you, not all, I could care less? This is what's wrong with the country. You should, as a citizen, be able to not care, but be able to comment and say, does this mean something? Why is this critical? DEI has to be destroyed. Could this be one little nail in the coffin? You don't care. I don't care. I'm proud of that. Couldn't care less. Don't care. Don't know. I don't care. I don't go there. What about Israel? I don't care. I don't live there. Okay. Yemen? Who? Who? This is where we are. The proud. I don't care. I don't watch that. I don't watch cable. I don't listen to Twitter. Well, watch Twitter. I don't follow that. I don't know. I'm proud. This is what drives me nuts. How people are proud of it. That's your reaction. I don't care. We're doomed. This is one of the most symbolic and important cases ever involving a topic theoretically that should mean something to you. This could very well be the end or the positioning of the end of DEI and affirmative action on steroids. It has been watched by the world. Supposedly, this involves Obama jumping in there. This is a statement about him. This is Harvard Corporation giving in to some serious money people. So money and that beats legacy and all this other kind of jazz. And these twits, by the way, what's going to happen? You don't care. I don't care. That's the problem. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. For every one of you who says, I don't care, there's a million who don't even care to respond. At least you've got the guts to admit that you have no interest in what's going on. Not even an opinion. Your statement is, I don't care. We are doomed as a society. What do you care about? What do you care about? What is it that matters to you? Tell me anything. What is critical? We have an election coming up. You know about that, right? Maybe you don't care. Maybe you don't care. I don't know. I don't care. I don't vote. What are you going to do? And the other day I actually said this with a straight face. Why don't people, let me get this out. Why don't people understand the threats of AGI? Oh, Jesus. Explaining AGI to a country that doesn't even, I don't know. What is it? Huh? AGI? Is that the insurance company? Or is it AIG? What is that? What is it? What am I supposed to do? Okay, wait. What am I supposed to? Am I supposed to care about this? All right. What is it? It's artificial intelligence. Uh-huh. Well, what about it? Well, do you want to know about it? No, not really. Anything else? That's the most. Did you hear what John Roberts said? They're actually now their court cases. One of the claims against Michael Cohen was that he used AI or ChatGPT for a brief or something. The implications of this are off the charts. How about the 14th Amendment? How about keeping Trump off? You think they're going to do that? New York's going to. Every state across the union, everybody is now, they're on the phone following up with Maine and others to keep the president off, to keep him off the ballot, President Trump, to keep him off the ballot. Do you care about that? Have you investigated that one? Have you looked at the 14th Amendment? Have you run through that? Have you read the various bases for why this matters? I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. It's our complacency that kills us. Our sense of listen. I heard something today which blew my mind. I listened to a talk radio show. Somebody sent me this. It's one particular segment. And the host said, sometimes these talk radio shows, they talk too long about a subject. They go on too long. More than a minute. That's too long. And I thought to myself, so it's kind of too complicated. You can go to any form. Lex Friedman, Joe Rogan, still the most important. You can go to Judge Napolitano, the Duran, go through the usual people, great people, and so many I'm listening to people, I don't even want to mention their names. I can't stand them personally, but they're spot on us of the world. They'll go an hour 20 on one subject. Get millions of hits. And this Jadrul is saying, no, people don't want to. In America, maybe in terms of these conservative types, they can't handle this. They wouldn't be able to handle any of this stuff. None of it. Nothing. We have no depth. Tomorrow morning, we're doing a topic. And by the way, I did something for the local. See, I want to thank people for saying I don't care. It makes me realize my job is not over. My job is not over. It's not. February 3rd, I'll be at the cutting room. If you care, there's a lot of people who show up and they care. They really care. They care about a lot of stuff and they worry. I don't really want you to worry, but I want you to care. February 3rd, better get your tickets now. It's a month from tomorrow. That fast. Okay? You got that one? Okay. I want to show you this other thing, which is really just unbelievable. There's I think I told you this before, but I do a private channel, right? And I can go into detail and I can spend some time. And by the way, we have a segment where people comment and nobody has ever said, I don't care about this. Nobody has ever said, I've never read somebody say, I don't care. Never. In fact, you can't believe how much is cared and how much information and how much, I'm not just saying that. It's absolutely the truth. People are out of their minds with information and the like. Nobody's ever said, and maybe because it's by the way, that's the link to the private channel. Check this out. Maybe it's because it's a paywall. I don't know. But there's a couple of things we did. There's a topic which is going to air. It's going to drop, as they say, it's going to drop tomorrow at 5 a.m. 5 a.m. You got that? And it's called Trank Tourism. In fact, we're going to be talking about this tomorrow. This is a story which is so perfect for me. And I'm realizing I'm wasting my time, but I'm going to proceed anyway. And the reason why I love it is because of the angles, the twists and turns, and the angles and the takes. I love something with a million angles. Yeah, yes, but what about this? Yeah, but what about this? What about that? What about this? Today, right now at 5, this is called Urkel's Toast, DEI sweetheart and plagiarist Claudine Gay out at Harvard. So what, you ask? Before that, training a population to consent to tyranny, imprisonment, and mental subjugation. And this morning, we talked about virtual rape in the metaverse, which I don't even want to get into, not with this crowd. A young girl's digital persona is sexually attacked by a gang of adult men in immersive video. And of course, nobody. So tomorrow, we're dealing with something which is so fascinating to me. I'm giving you a heads up. First, there's the private side, but it's called Tran tourism. Have you heard about this? Fantastic. A little bit of a heads up. Trank tourism is a disturbing trend seen in areas like the absolute prime, the capital of this is Kensington in North Philly, where the use of the sedative trank or xylazine has become prevalent. Xylazine or trank, primarily used for veterinary use, has incredibly harmful effects on humans, leading to a zombie-like state where they're frozen and they're zombies. And we hate zombies. Severe flesh-eating wounds, necrotizing fasciitis, huge gaping holes and picking teeth. The sedatives have been contributed to deadly opioids are like a joke, with a 276% increase in deaths between January 19 and June of 2022. This phenomenon involves trank tourism. Social media commentators, social media vultures, and ghouls, creators, film these individuals under the influence of trank without their consent. And you can argue, you can say, well, it's in the open, there's no expectation of privacy. Okay, fine. They exploit these humans and their vulnerable state. And these videos shared on platforms like TikTok and others raise very serious ethical questions. Who cares? That's up to them. Well, for those of us who have a heart, ethical concerns as individuals are probed and talk about your private lives. You have these women and they're sitting there and they're covered in tats and they're skinny and their teeth are hanging out, and they ask them and they're all just, and it's ghoulish and it's exploitative, and it's the rise of trank tourism. And this led to the creation of numerous channels dedicated to the showcasing events in areas heavily affected by substance. And by the way, in Kensington, oh, you can see it now. I want you to pretend for 1 second. I want you to listen to me, and I want you to ask yourself the following question. I want you to just forget your usual reaction of it's their fault, the hell with them, I don't care. If that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. Yeah. Okay, fine. Here's the question. What are the issues that are involved? What are the issues? Issues? What do you mean issues? What are the issues? What are the issues that come about? What are some of the things you should be asking yourself? First of all, is this moral? Do you think going and taking pictures of people defecating and doing this and passed out and frozen, zooming in to get to up your subs and up your likes and up your channel and your TikTok, whatever, do you think that is ethical? Yes or no? Please don't say I don't care. I know you don't care. Pretend you care. Pretend that part of you that connects to the world, the whole Christian thing, perhaps pretend it's connected. Is it ethical? Yes or no? Whether it's gross or not, is it ethical? Is it ethical? We got a no, got a gross, we got an oops, we got a Mark says it's ethical. Abby says no. Alvara says no, ethical, 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 ethical. Reagan signed legislation deinstitutionalizing mental hospitals. It's a very good point. People need to see it. Very good. Very good. There are people helping dress their wounds, etc. That's a good picture. Is it ethical? In public, there's no expectation of privacy. Didn't ask if it was legal. Is it ethical? Is it ethical? Just because it's out in public, do you want to put it up there? You want to have a picture of some kid being beaten by their parents? It's in the public. There's no expectation of privacy. How about a dog being hit? Would you put that up there? Would you? People are crazy with animals. They care about animals more than we do human beings. Do you? Do you think so? Do you think so? No people's dignity should be respected as a human being. Now, here's the issue. And I want you to listen carefully. But before we do this, I want you to think about this something very, very careful. I told you about this man, and I told you about how much I love him, and you have shown him absolutely nothing but respect and love yourself. His name is Mike Lindell. That's right. And this is the My Pillow spot. MyPillow.com. There it is. MyPillow.com, promo code Lionel. I'm just going to say this. I'm going to tell you one thing. When you are in the mattress business and your whole thing is soft and pillows and blankets and soft and duvets and soft and comfortable and soft and all this, and you have a mission of making slippers, and you take that genius that you have for soft and comfortable slippers, they sell more of those than you can imagine. Use promo code Lionel. Go to this mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. Use the code and absolutely freak out with our good friends at mypillow.com. mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. Okay. Let me ask you something. There is a legal question. Is this legal to take care of? If you drive down and say, hey, there's somebody there. Oh, look, there's a guy. He's relieving himself in a goldfish bowl. Take that. Get that. It's in the open. Is that? Now, it might violate some YouTube policy. I don't know. Is it legal? Absolutely. 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 Now, what if somebody is molesting a child, God forbid, and you videotape it, and it's happening in the public, and you would say, look at what's happening. Look at what's going on right here. And let's assume, is that legal? Hell no. That's CSAM, child sexual abuse material. Yeah, but it's not. I don't care what the reason for it is. You can't do that. You can't do that. You are going to be held probably at federal level for this. You're disseminating this. This is child pornography. No. I'm trying to show nonsense. So just because it's in the open doesn't mean it's legal. But what if you're sitting out there and you're just, I don't know, in your car, and you look and you say, hey, those guys are robbing that store. Hey, quick, Jerry, get the camera. And you get the camera and you film it, and you happen to be there. And you go there, and then the police come and there's a shootout. And oh my God. And you take it and you upload it and it goes viral. You got 1 million hits. My God, you can retire on that one. That thing goes on and on, and it was there. Is that legal? Yeah. What are you doing? Are you exploiting a situation? Wow. Are you exploiting crime? Are you making money off of crime? Maybe. Okay. What do you think a war correspondent does? What does he do? When he takes pictures of men and when people who are blown to bits, what is he doing? Is that legal? Is that moral? Well, he's a war correspondent. Why isn't this a war correspondent? Do you see? Do you see how the issues are not as solid as you think? John McGuire couldn't get hired, says the ethics depends on the reason. If for likes and clicks alone, no. In the same manner, a photo of a dead man at a crime scene is ethical, but taking a photo of the corpse at a funeral home isn't. Fascinating. John, I thank you for that. Thank you for thinking. I disagree in one respect, okay? I don't care about your intent. I don't. Who remembers the name of a fellow named Ouija? Do you remember Ouija? Weegee. This was a man who was 69 years old. Ouija was born Usher Felling. He was born in the Ukraine in 1899, and he was a photographer. And Ouija used to have, you've seen him before, he slept in this kind of a flop house, sort of always had a cigar, and he had police radios with him all the time. And he would listen. And oftentimes he would get to the scene before the cops. Oh, just beautiful. The clarity, black and white, these incredible press photographers. There was a woman one time who fell, this beautiful woman, they said, look at this woman. She fell, either she committed suicide or was defenestrated. But she landed on this car, broke it, and she's got her legs crossed, and she looks like she's just like she's in a glamour shot. She's dead. Didn't affect her face at all. I'll never forget a picture I saw of a young lady who was hit. She was crossing a highway in Florida, and she was hit by a Corvette who was going, I don't know how fast. He wasn't drunk, but her arms, legs just came off. And they put a picture of her on the gurney, by the way, kids, if you have any kids here, tell them to go away. On the gurney. And they took the arm, and they put the arm here, and the leg, they went like that, they put it on the side. It's kind of like remember when you had a Foot Locker? Remember you had G.I. Joes, so you put the shoe like this and the shoe like that. And there it was. And her face was like she was sleeping. It was the most incredible, it was the most fascinating photo. She's dead, obliterated, but her face showed no trauma whatsoever. That's what happened. I think kids should see that if they want to know about speed and how they got to calm things down. But what about those people? They just took it. They were there. Did they exploit this? What was their intention? Ouija's intention was to sell his pictures to whatever it is. What's wrong with that? Anybody remember years ago taking pictures or seeing? And I love this at the end of Driver's Ed. It was a thing called Blood on the Highway, Signal 20 or whatever it was, and they had these really grainy, bad color reprocessed photos of these accidents where this guy would drive around with a police radio and be there first and take pictures who were just, well, what's the difference? Why do you think he sold it? Now, because I pay, because I want to get clicks. I'm a chronicler. I want you to buy my work. I want, just like I comment or commentate, as people say, opinionate. I want people to, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with it? And the thing I wish people would do is take these pictures and go in front of the mayor of Philly or whatever it is, whoever's in charge of this, and say, how do you live with yourself? How are you doing this? Then you have this story. You have the people who themselves were out of rehab. They were there. And their idea of helping out is giving free needles and either called bubbles or something so people could smoke their meth, smoke their stuff. You think that helps? Do you think clean needles is the way to go? Do you think that's the way to help? I'm not so sure about that. But these people some love to play. Look at me. I'm the Narcan martyr. I'm out there saving lives because I was out there. It's like that Matthew Perry. Remember when Matthew Perry got really obnoxious at the end? You don't understand. I'm an addict. Okay, take it easy. And I gave this up. And every day, well, it turns out, sad to say, because it shows you the power of addiction. But then you get these people. Now, these people are making their money. What are they doing? They're making money doing the same thing, but in reverse. Look at me. Am I great or what? Here I am administering Narcan to this thing who just whatever. Do you see where it doesn't matter what your intention is? I don't want that in any way eliminated from the possibility. It's happened. It's real. Show it. Show it. But what these people are doing deep down inside, if you get 1 million hits, you go to bed at night, you post some picture, and all of a sudden you go, hey, I got 20 views. Okay. Next morning, 1 million. It's the biggest addiction in the world. You're going to be out there every day. You'll pass out the trank to get more customers. You're going to say, this is great. I'm making a fortune. Now I've got people that love me. Trank tourism. During the Civil War, Matthew Brady reported that Americans, New Yorkers, would sometimes be told the battle's going to start here. They would show up before the battles, set up in like bleachers or chairs, and then watch the battle as Americans killed each other. You don't think that's disgusting? So who stops that? The issues are fascinating. And don't kid yourself. When we talk about what's legal or moral, nobody's going to stop doing what they're doing. Nobody's going to not go because they don't care about morality. Nobody cares about that. They say they do, but they don't. They don't. And somebody said before, Liz said, it is gross. The gross stuff is fascinating. I think gross. Remember Faces of Death? A lot of it was all phony. But there was this thing called Ogrish and these other, to see pictures. I remember one time I was in law school and they had a forensic forensic pathology, kind of a book. And with pictures, black and white are always worse. And it was everything you can imagine. Every kind of, electrocution, shotgun wounds. Absolutely fascinating. Fascinating. Was it gross? No. It was real. This is what dead people look like. This is what murder looks like. This is what it looks like. And one of the reasons I can't get anybody to understand why Epstein killed himself was I got to be able to explain the notion of fractured hyoid bones and thyroid cartilages, but nobody's listening because either go, that kind of thing, or I don't care, one or the other. The body tells you a story. They tell you a story. They tell you, look what they did to me. Look, find what's happening. Check my blood. Here's one for you. Michael Baden years ago had this problem. They found this guy who was in a bathtub. He had been dead for a long, long time. And he was covered with maggots. Just floating around. You couldn't even make anything up. So what he did was he says, if the maggots are basically consuming the flesh of the person, I wonder if we can learn something from taking the maggots, blending and putting them in a blender, and then trying to extract toxicology report from these macerated ground maggots. And they did. And they found out that What the maggots were eating is what was in his body, and they found this guy died of an overdose or whatever it was. It was fantastic. Brilliant. Was it gross? No. This is death. This is putrescence. This is nature. There's nothing gross about it. It's the way it is. If you don't want to do it, don't do it for a living. I wouldn't suggest. Don't you think that's fascinating? I think that's so fascinating. I had a friend of mine one time who was, I'll never forget this. There was a quote, a stinker. He went to this apartment. He was a brand new NYPD cop years ago. They knew, it was like, oh God. They knew exactly what this was. They opened up the door and you go, oh, and this guy was just, the smell was just overwhelming. And he was I'm not going to tell you one. I'm not going to tell you one story. I'll do that in my private thing. But it's involved the family pet. I'll leave it at that. But this guy was there and he was bloated. I mean, just, I don't know how many days it was. So the veteran turns to my friend who was a rookie, says, give me your nightstick. He said, why? He says, give me your nightstick. He says, okay, here. So they happen to have a rope from whatever. And he took a length of rope, tied it to the end of the nightstick. He says, stand behind me. He opens the door, does like this, with the nightstick on the string, and throws it, and it lands right on this abdomen of this bloated whatever. And after he threw it, he closed the door, and all they heard was just this little noise. And they knew what it was. And then they went in and they could, Now, is that gross? That's fascinating. Because those police officers are there doing a job you don't want to do. And then you have these companies that go in to clean up after somebody died. And they do this. It's the most fantastic thing in the world. It's fascinating how they get the smells out and how they have to. Is that gross? No. That's reality. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. I think that's incredible. There's this one woman on have you ever seen her on Twitter, on Instagram, Mrs. Angemi, or what is her name? Oh, this is a great one. I've been watching her for, there we go. Yes, Angemi. She is Mrs. Angemi, Mrs. MRS _ Angemi on Instagram. Her name is Nicole Angemi. She was born and raised in Philly. She was a death assistant working as a pathologist assistant. Absolutely fascinating. Fascinating. Is it gross? No. There was remember that woman who was on she was very ghoulish. Not by the subject matter, but the way she talked. She was into she was a coroner or a funeral director, but she did certain things. I don't know where she went. She had black hair. She kind of looked like Morticia. And she had this way of speaking. That was scary, but not the subject matter. And I always wondered, when people go to, how do they, fix bodies? How do they, we had a friend, somebody that we knew who wanted to go into embalming school or become a funeral director. That was fascinating. And she would talk about, and I don't know what happened to her. I don't know where she went. I haven't looked. Maybe you know her name. You know what I mean? She's got whatever, kind of dark. Anyway, and they ask, what do you do with the mouth? How do you keep a mouth from opening up? Doesn't that make sense? Not Dr. G. There was another woman. Anyway, you know who I'm talking about. She has black. So I thought about it. I thought, and it's always mechanical because they're very, 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 they're very, very carpentry-like, and they use wire. They thread it to the gum and the foot, and they just wire it shut. That makes sense. Do you want the mouth? Do you want Aunt Sadie's mouth to pop open in the mouth? No. I found that fascinating. Maceration, you know what a trocar is? Let me just leave it at that. Have you seen Dr. Pimple Popper, somebody mentioned? Fantastic. Love that. Love it. She's very loving to people. They come in with some lipoma the size of a basketball. They're embarrassed. She takes it right off. This benign, it's a fat tumor. It's not cancerous. It's benign. And just it's beautiful. Takes this thing, don't she weighs it. And these people, she liberates them from this. They had a guy who had a rhinophyma. Oh my God, acne rosacea and rhinophyma. This poor guy's nose, he was so embarrassed. He lived his whole life. She carved half of this stuff off. He looked beautiful. Changed his life. Is it gross? No. It's beautiful. How did she do that? That's unbelievable. So that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. The ups and the downs. Now look at it this way, look at it that way. What about this? When is it not okay? Should YouTube or TikTok get involved in it? No. This is out there. Better yet, go out there and try to fix this. Mayor of Philly or whoever's in charge, fix this. I want you to think. I want you to think. And before you respond, I don't want you to think in this patellar way. I want you to think immediately. I want you to think like, yes. I want you to think, it's a good question. Not, let me tell you something quick. Let me write something cute. And by the way, Pierino, Fanculo, there's rigor mortis, livor mortis, allegor mortis, the lividity from livor mortis, algor, the temperature, rigor. Remember, you're loose, then you're stiff, and then you're loose again. Starts at the jaw. Fascinating. Yes. People's corpses standing up. Yes. Absolutely. You mentioned watch Dr. House. It's ridiculous. I've watched Dr. House with a doctor, and they will laugh and laugh and laugh. Now, you know what really is sick? Child predation. Mrs. L has a brand new. You've been terrific. I want you to go to her website. This is you want to talk about gross, not what she says, but the subject matter and how people don't seem to care. Talk about not caring. Nobody cares. But we care and she cares. This is the most important thing in the world. Please listen to these wonderful people. Listen to her. Follow her one more time. I want you to go right there. And I want you, dear friend, to go to, here we go. This is her YouTube channel. YouTube has marked her for something. I don't know why this is. I don't understand it. Elon, if you're listening, pay attention. Twitter, excuse me. Twitter. Pardon me, Twitter. If she gets 5 new viewers, it's knocked out. You can count them. I do this with you. 5 new Twitter. It's like somebody somewhere, maybe during the Dorsey days, maybe somebody didn't like the fact that she was worrying about kids. I don't know. But I ask you, please follow her on Twitter or X, which I can't bring myself to say. According to it. Now, better believe it. Save the children. So I want you to think. And I hope that when we're done tonight, you say, you know, I never thought about that. That was very interesting. I wondered about that. This Dr. Gay thing. I know you don't care, but what is this really about? Why am I thinking one way or another? It's about who she represents. But was she right? Yes. Did she handle herself the wrong way? And by the way, what should she have done? She should have lied. She said, of course there's a policy at Harvard. Whether it's true or not, just say it. Yes, of course. Lie like the rest of them. It's that simple. All right, dear friends. 1 hour and 4 minutes. Thank you. John McGuire couldn't get higher. Thank you so very much for your kindness. All right, dear friends. Have a great and a glorious day. I hope we didn't make anybody sick tonight, but I want you to think. And I want you to think, and I want you to think to yourself, and I want you to ask yourself, I wonder what's going on here. I wonder what's going on. I want you to really ask yourself, what is it that's wrong with this? Do I believe in this? Do I not believe in this? I don't know. In any event, dear friends, have a great and a glorious and a wonderful day. See you tomorrow at 8 a.m. where we're going to talk more about Trank. So I love this stuff. And until then, my friends, remember this. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. Dead.